Hello people, welcome back to the channel, and today I am going to be giving you 10 great fights that I think the UFC should make right now. As I've written here, I am the best MMA matchmaker on YouTube. All the rest of them are pretty pants, apart from Bedtime MMA, love that man, and also, what's his name, Hopper, who's also pretty decent as well, to be fair to me, but nah, I'm the GOAT, man. Not too long ago, I made a video about 10 fight night main events I want to see. If you haven't checked that out, go check it out. It's one of my best videos, and I wanted to kind of get a mix of some good fun fights and also realistic ones as well. I tried to think outside the box as much as I can and come up with some kind of original ideas, and I love doing card builders. I mean, just matchmaking fights, it's what I used to do just in my bedroom, so now I can present that on YouTube is great. So any ideas on future videos, let me know. Anyway, let's get into it. I'm going to start with a couple that have come straight off the back of last weekend's card in Texas, and this is the first one of those. I say you do Rob Font against Jonathan Martinez. I've been really high on Martinez for quite a while now. I thought he was great against Said Nurmagomedov and also against Adrian Yanez. I think he's very well rounded and he could be a problem at 135. I also enjoy watching Rob Font. I think at times a lot of the, I'm not going to call them casuals, but you kind of get what I'm saying. Look at him. Apart from the Yanez knockout, that was crazy. He's not the best finisher, but the actual technique of his striking is superb. I love watching him fight. However, as you can see on this little graphic here, he has lost 4 of his last 5, so he needs a drop down the rankings, and I think that Font is the perfect litmus test about the top 10 for Martinez. If he can beat him, you're looking at maybe a Sandhagen or somewhere around that kind of top 5, maybe a Marlon Vera if he loses against O'Malley. The sky's the limit, I think, on Martinez. I love him a lot. I think it's to be a good fight as well. It could be a fight night main event in the Apex, but I think you're more likely to see this maybe as a co-main of a crowded fight night card, or maybe on the main card of a weak pay-per-view or the feature prelim of a stronger pay-per-view, but I think it's a fight that I definitely think should be happening right now. And another interesting one off the back of UFC Austin, I think you do Kelvin Gastelum against Joaquin Buckley. Now, if you watched me UFC 298 card builder, I actually had Joaquin against RDA, but after watching the Brady Gastelum fight, I think this one makes more sense. You can say what you want about Kelvin. He always used to miss weight at 170. I think he's lost like 6 out of his last 9 or 6 out of his last 8, something like that. It ain't good, but he's a problem still. And a little bit like what I just said about Rob Font, he's an excellent litmus test. Because if you look at the people that's beaten him, none of them are bums. There's not a single bum that's ever beat Kelvin Gastelum. Ever. And if I'm Buckley, I'm looking at Gastelum thinking that would probably be the biggest win of my career, at least in terms of the name. I mean, of course, he had that viral Caio, right? But in terms of the name of the opponent, it would be his biggest win if he could beat Gastelum. You could have this as an Apex, maybe co-main event, or on the prelims of a decent pay-per-view, something like that. It would be a fun fight. I probably would pick Gastelum to win, but either way, I want to see this fight. I think it makes sense, and it's a fun one. It's a real fun one. Now, I know what you're thinking. I know that Murphy against Ige is almost effectively announced. Not quite, but we're basically there. I know that, but if I was the matchmaker, this is the one that I would make, 100%. I do rate Ige. I think he's a little bit underrated in a lot of ways, but if you look at the Yusuf against Edson fight and you tell me that him against Lerone Murphy wouldn't be fun, come on now. Even though Lerone is undefeated in the UFC and he's inside the rankings, I think he's still got question marks over his head, if I'm honest with you. I believe the guy's name was, I think it was Gabriel Benitez. If I'm wrong, do let me know. He fought him at UFC 286 in March in London, and I thought he lost that fight. It was the first time that anybody had really put it on him. And I honestly thought at times he didn't look great. And if there's one thing we learned about Sadiq in the Edson fight, he doesn't mind a scrap. So I think this would be a really good, again, it's a test about an up-and-comer. This is exactly what this is again. Which is kind of weird. It wasn't that long ago that all of us were talking about Sadiq as the up-and-comer, but he's lost a couple now against the elite of the elite, fair play. So it's his turn almost to try and defend his ranking, if you get what I'm saying. You could have this as a main event in the Apex. I wouldn't mind that at all. Over 5 rounds, it would be the first one for Murphy in the UFC. That would be interesting, but it's more likely main card of a pay-per-view probably. But either way, I'd love to see this one, even though it looks like we're going to get Danny Ige, which I don't mind, but I would pick this one. This one kind of hurts me even looking at, but I was thinking about Paul Craig. I love Paul Craig. Anyone who knows me knows how much I love that bearded messiah, but if you're thinking about rankings and how they usually work, this is probably going to happen. Old guy, off a loss, a bad loss, he got dominated. You know, he's in the kind of the bottom part of the rankings, and you've got a really exciting guy on the other side of the octagon who needs a way into the rankings. It's just the way the UFC works, I'm afraid. It's one of those fights where, again, I could see it as a main event. I would not mind watching 5 rounds of these two, even though it wouldn't go 5 rounds. It goes 5 minutes tops, probably. It does look on paper like I'm trying to slaughter Paul Craig, and it's the last thing I want to do. I love that man, honestly, but I think when you look at somebody like Michel Pereira, he was supposed to fight Wonderboy, who was number 7 at the time at welterweight. He's already got a win at middleweight. You have to give him a ranked opponent, right? And you look at the rest of the division, you've got Jacko Manson's already fighting Joe Pyfer. Hamzat's not going to fight him. Neither's Brendan Allen, probably. So, I mean, you've got... Mavov's got a fight and Curtis has got a fight. It kind of just leaves Paulie, to be honest. So, yeah, I would do this. I'd hate to watch it. I would be behind my sofa the whole fight, waiting until our mate Paul gets flying kneed in the head and then fucking backflipped on, whatever this crazy Brazilian's going to do. But I honestly, as much as I'd hate it personally, it's a fight that I would make if you're thinking logically. So there you go. Lads, I've had this entire video template and all the fights kind of set out for about 2 or 3 days now, and the UFC completely shafted me on the fucking Lerone against Ige, and now they're saying it might be Burns against JDM. No, Burns against Poirier. I mean, everything from the fact that Burns is the next lightweight, the size, they're pretty much identical, if not, maybe Dustin's even a bit bigger. They're both relatively big names, and we know Burns loves a pound note and a big payday and a big opponent, so that works. You could do it at UFC 300, obviously, we think it's going to be Conor on that card, there's storyline with Poirier, and it's one that, if Dustin Poirier gets a win, he's 1 win away from a title shot. He could end up fighting Colby. Right, here's something for you. If Colby Covington beats Leon Edwards, and Dustin Poirier fights Burnsy and smokes him, the UFC will make Dustin Poirier against Colby at 170 for the title. Fuck Belal Muhammad, I'm telling you that right now. And it's just a great fight. I mean, yes, they're both offer losses, I understand that, but listen, in my opinion, Burns is one of the top 3 most exciting guys at 170, and Poirier is one of the most exciting guys at 155. It would be an insane fight. It would be fight of the night. Even not at 300, it would be a great, other than like a crowded fight night main event. You could do this anywhere, in any place, and everybody would be dying to see it. So it's a great fight. Don't do Burns against fucking JDM. Do JDM against Brady, and do Burns against Poirier. Come on, Dana. You hired that guy off of the Matchmaker thing, and he made Cody Garbrandt against Brian Kelleher, and you hired him permanently. Are you dumb? Anyway, have to do Burns against Poirier. I mean, come on, it makes all the sense in the world. Okay, this absolute mountain of a Cuban fucking crazy nutcase. Robert Despaigne, I'm going to say that may be wrong if it is. I'm sorry, but yeah, he's a scary dude. He's 35 now, though, so you can't really have a natural growth up the division. He's 4-0, he's knocking everybody out, he's fucking scary as fuck. Just hand him Jairzinho Rosenstraik. Just do it. Jairzinho will look at him and think, oh, it's a striker, I'll have that, my son, and it's a 50-50. He's 4-0, however, I think he's been fighting my bin man and me postman and then the geezer at the shop in 3 of his first 4 fights. So, he's unproven is basically what I am trying to say. I would probably still pick him to beat Jairzinho, because if you look at Jairzinho against Volkov, this man, who even in his fucking photo is scaring me, is effectively how can I put it? He's a less technical MMA fighter, a more technical striker, and definitely more powerful than Volkov. If you get what I'm trying to say, that may not have made sense, but in my head it did. I literally learned about this guy when his viral clip of his 3.5 second knockout was going around the place, and I thought, he's going on this bloody video, mate, and he's going here against Jairzinho. I thought I'd throw in another one after the Texas card, and this one may cause controversy, but again, in my head it makes sense. Again, my head's not the most reliable source, but I'll talk about it anyway. I will rip my hair out, and then eat it, and then shit it out, and then eat it again if Umar, having not beaten a single guy in the top 15 of any weight class, gets to fight Corey Sandhagen. It's not on. It's obvious now at this point that O'Malley's fighting Vera, of course, we know that. And it looks like we're going to get Cejudo Merab, maybe not. And whoever wins that one is also getting a title fight. So, there needs to be somebody after that, if you get what I'm saying. I think that Corey Sandhagen's already earned a title shot. I think his improvement as a grappler mixed in with his already incredible striking abilities, he would be a problem for O'Malley, a really big one. However, if Corey does have to fight in the meantime, don't give him Umar. I think this fight against the nutty little Brazilian Davison Figueiredo is much more intriguing and makes a lot more sense. Not a lot of people actually thought that he was going to beat Rob Font. I personally did. I know I'm a fucking genius. And I think if you look at the division, who else are you going to give him? He's not fighting Cejudo. He trains with Cejudo, I think. He's not fighting Merab. He's not fighting, obviously, Vera. A lot of people are saying Piotr Jan. I've seen that around. It's not a terrible idea. I would definitely watch the shit out of that thing. It's a great main event of any fight night. But Davison Figueiredo was the flyweight champion, at the start of this year. He was flyweight champion at the start of this calendar year. Jan's not won a fight since 2021. It just doesn't make no sense in my opinion. I think that Davis and Figueiredo should be in the pound for pound top 15 as well. I really do. I think he's that good. And we've seen less weight drift. Yeah, okay, it's only Rob Font. I understand that. But I would like to see Sandhagen against Davison. And the winner, I think, gets the title shot after the winner of Henry and Merab. That's what I would do. I think it would be a good fight. I do think Poirier would win, though, to be honest. Now, this is a fight that gets my nipples erect. I'm going to be completely honest with you, beautiful people. This one gets me tingling. We need another opponent for the Bullet. And I know that Marvin Vettori, one, he called him Pirate Guy. That's a fantastic thing to say. That was one of the best things I read online that day. But he accepted the fight. However, Cotton Eye Joe over here didn't show that much grappling defence against Bruno Silva. He was not great. He was very good off his back. He was landing some nasty things off his back. But in terms of actually stopping the takedown, Jackamanson will take him down. Off of that, Jackamanson would take him down. And that's not a good thing to say. That's like saying I never want to be world champion, basically. So, in my opinion, just my opinion, of course, that's all this video is, you need to give him somebody in the meantime. I was thinking about doing him against Paul Craig. Just mainly because I don't really like Shallow Bullet and I think that Craig would sub him. But I decided I'd be fair. And I think this fight makes a lot of sense. I mean, I really like Caio Borralho. I really do. And he's arguably earned a ranked opponent of his own. I mean, he's beat Olivier Shook and Abus recently. 2 great wins. However, I think they both could do with one more win. And the winner of this fight would then be ranked. This would be brilliant on like a Brazil card. Or maybe even opening up a pay-per-view. I wouldn't mind that at all. Maybe May, something around there would be pretty good. I think this would be a really good one. I think the winner would go into the rankings and look to fight maybe Jack Manson if he can beat Joe Pyfer. Who knows? You know, somewhere around there. I think a lot of people are saying, you know, Brendan Allen or Marvin Vettori or Jared Cannonier I read somewhere. Behave, will you? That's what I think you do. Old Shara Bullet against Caio Borralho. The winner gets ranked, and they maybe have like a main event against a Jack Manson if he beats Joe Pyfer. That's just my take. Now, lads, I am of course British. I don't know if you can tell from my lovely accent, so I've got to represent the UK guys in this video, and I've done that just here. It's been a while since we've had a UK against UK fight. I know we were supposed to have Wood against Murphy, that never happened. This is the next best thing. I'm still not over what happened in Wood's last fight against Naimov in Abu Dhabi. That was just cheating bastard. Anyway, and Grant obviously lost recently as well. So they're both coming off losses. They're both English. Just do it at the London card next year. There's always a London card. You might as well do it there. Now, I know what you're thinking, beautiful people. They're at 2 different weight classes. Correct, they are. I want to see Woods go back down to bantamweight. He's too small for featherweight. He just is. But if you flip that on its bloody head, Grant is quite a big bantamweight. Height-wise, he's pretty tall for the division. He's also quite thick-set as well. So as you can see on this lovely little masterpiece of art that I've done for you here, I've actually put both weight classes down because I think this fight is weight class interchangeable. You could do it at bantamweight and Wood could easily come back down, or you could do it at 145. I think Grant would look good at 145. So either weight class, get them in the octagon, UK against UK, sign me up. Just to round off the perfect 10, lads, I'm going to give you quite a straightforward one. It's not going to take that much explaining. Azamat was scheduled to fight Volkan Oezdemir in France. Azamat got injured and pulled out. If you fast forward a bit, this month he was supposed to fight Khalil Roundtree. He got pneumonia, I believe, so he's now out of that fight. And in the new year, he'll look for another match. Oezdemir's not got a fight. He is coming off a win, so he's got a decent amount of stock on his name at the moment. Effectively, just rebook it as soon as Azamat's healthy. I mean, I think this makes a lot of sense. It's 2 big dudes, 2 light heavyweights with massive power. One of them's going to sleep. It's weird. I was leaning towards Volkan the first time it was announced. Now I'd lean Azamat. I don't know why, I just would. That effectively wraps up the video of 10 of the best fights you'll ever see on YouTube from the best matchmaker on YouTube, okay? This guy. Don't let anyone tell you different. No, I'm joking. All of us are good. Well, apart from, I'm not going to name any names. Alright? Guru. What? Anyway, let's move on from that. I didn't say that, okay? I did not say that. That did not come out of my mouth. Anyway, I'll catch you tomorrow. Goodbye.